get on to myths and misconceptions about exercise and EDS and HSD. So this is our first category, exercise myths. These are things that people have actually been told. These are things that I were aware of, but these are things that I've actually asked members of the community to share with me, and this is what they came back with. And you're not going to believe some of the things that people have been told when they've got EDS or HSD. So myth number one, what's your problem? It's good to be bendy. It's an advantage. Yes and no. Okay, if you're an athlete, if you're a gymnast, if you're a dancer, yes, hypermobility can be a real bonus. It can. You have to do big ranges of motion, big ranges of movement. Being bendy can be an advantage. But we're talking about a very different category of people. If you're a dancer, a gymnast, etc., you have trained yourself. You have received training on how to control those ranges of motion so that you can make those beautiful movements without injuring yourself, hopefully. That's no guarantee, of course, in the dancing world. But it can be advantageous. Absolutely. There's lots of athletes out there that are hypermobile, but they're asymptomatic. What happens if you're bendy, but you are symptomatic? Being bendy, having laxity, is not an advantage in that case. We have to learn how to support, how to control, how to become aware of our bodies. Okay, so it's a real myth that it's good to be bendy. There are plenty of people out there who do amazing things who aren't bendy. So it doesn't really back up the science there. Why do people think it's good to be bendy? You see lots of courses and things on social media about improve your flexibility, get flexible. You need mobility and stability. It's not just about being bendy. Okay, so that's myth number one. Okay, myth number two, and someone was actually told this, exercise won't help because defective ligaments will always be defective ligaments. So what's the point in exercising? So as a movement therapist, obviously this is close to my heart, and I can't quite believe that somebody was told that if you've got defective ligaments, then basically there's nothing you can do. Why bother exercising? Now, the research does not back up that myth or that misconception. We know, I know from personal experience, I know from my clients, I know from the members of the Zebra Club, we know from the research that exercise is beneficial. So yes, we might have a collagen defect, which means that our ligaments are lax. Absolutely, nobody's disputing that. But there is plenty you can do to help support those ligaments by improving the muscular tone and strength and stability around that joint. Okay, and that's where exercise can play a really, really important part. I mean, it has to be the right exercise, of course. We've heard and we hear of stories of people injuring themselves in exercise. So we need to modify that exercise and make sure that it's the right sort of exercise for us. And on this YouTube channel, I have lots and lots of videos and classes to help us explore safe, effective, hypermobile exercise. But please don't think that just because you have ligament laxity, and I hate the word defective, language is super, super important. As therapists, as teachers, as doctors, we need to be super careful in the language that we're using. We cannot tell people they have defective ligaments. They have a condition that causes ligament laxity. Okay, and that is something that we can look after and we can manage. Okay, so that is dispelling that myth that exercise will not help with these so-called defective ligaments. Another myth surrounding exercise, you need to strengthen up, but weights are not good for you. Don't do weights. Again, not sure about that one. Weights, free weights or weights on a machine like a reformer or gym can be hugely beneficial. It builds muscular strength. The caveat to that, of course, is that you have to have enough awareness, enough body awareness, enough sensory awareness. We have to be very proficient in our alignment, our understanding of our proprioceptive alignment and where our bones are in space, okay? Because yes, if we go and do weights and we start lifting weights or whatever it is you choose to do, but things are not in the right place, then we could be looking at some potential problems, strains, etc. So if I want to strengthen my shoulders, a huge problem area for many people with hypermobility, the shoulder joint being the most the most mobile joint in the body. Research backs this up, that the shoulder is one of the most problematic areas for hypermobility. So if I decide I'm going to start strengthening my shoulders, but I go to the gym or I start using free weights and I've got these rounded forward shoulders and maybe my forward head posture, and I don't really understand how to use my arms correctly, and I start loading the joint when it's in this position, yes, I could potentially injure myself because I'm not recruiting the right muscles. I haven't got proper alignment. So before we start weight training, please work on your alignment first, your understanding, get some proprioceptive awareness. And again, I've got loads of videos on here to help with that. And my other caveat would be, start low. If you're new to weights, or, I had to start with just half a kilo, built up to 1 kilo and so on from there, because I could not tolerate lifting anything. I couldn't use little hand weights because it would instantly flare up my neck and my upper trapezius muscles, these ones across here. So start low, as always, go low, go slow. So load is going to be really important. Speed at which you do those movements are going to be very important. If you're going at it really quickly, again, where's the control? We want a slow, controlled movement. We want to load up safely and appropriately for our level of ability. But absolutely, weights can be hugely beneficial. So don't sort of think that weights are a bad thing for us, okay? So have I got anything else? Yeah, my final one on the exercise front in this little category: swimming is the best form of exercise for hypermobility. And I can see why people say that, but it's really important to remember that we're all individual. So some people will love swimming and get huge benefits out of swimming, but it's not for everybody. Some people will enjoy going to a hydrotherapy pool because of the support of the water. So I can totally see where that is coming from. You've got the support of the water. It's not weight bearing, okay? So you're not going to impact the joints. Of course, that causes other issues because we do need to impact our joints, for things like osteoporosis. And as we age, we do need to load our tissue and our bones. So, pros and cons there. Good form is going to be super important if we're swimming, because if we've got the sort of, again, the neck not going sort of tilted back, the head tilted back, and we're not got good form with our rotation, etc., or we're keeping the neck out of the head out of the water, we could be putting some issues through the back of the neck. But the person who told me this myth actually said that they found it very difficult because they lost proprioceptive awareness in the water. You see, so it just shows how everyone is so different. There isn't a one-size-fits-all exercise that suits all of us, yeah? I mean, I am not a fan of swimming, don't particularly enjoy it. That's partly because of my intolerance to the cold. So I find it a real shock getting into the water. But no, there are plenty of exercises, and what is key is finding something that you enjoy. Okay, so yeah, just dispelling that myth that swimming is the best form of exercise for hypermobility. It may be for some people, it may not be for other people. You might enjoy doing something totally different, and that's fantastic too. So that brings us to the end of our first section on exercise, misconceptions, myths and misunderstandings with hypermobility and EDS. And I look forward to seeing you again soon.